So today we're talking about XDefiant, which a lot of people are going to label the COD killer. I don't necessarily think that's the case, but I think they're doing a lot of good things in the right direction to make a fast-paced, fun multiplayer experience that is kind of reminiscent of a BO2 a little bit. At least that's the vibes I get, with some of the little other specialist nonsense that BO4 had. And the initial base is pretty solid. They have these different modes that you can see here. We have the regular escort, which is kind of like safeguard. We got zone control, which is kind of like control from COD, domination, which is clearly domination, and then occupy, which is a lot like hardpoint. And then there you can actually just customize it so that when you matchmake, you can matchmake for the two modes you like or whatever the case. And ranked mode will be coming along with the practice zone. I saw other people had access to it, but me in particular, it just didn't pop up. They have different rewards in terms of a battle pass, which you'll be able to unlock. And this is for this specific one that is only 11 days. I played for probably about an hour and 20 minutes and I almost got the first one. So I guess they expect you to pay about 12 to 15 hours over a 2-week time span or so. There are 5 different factions currently. It looks like they are all from the Ubisoft games. This one is probably the most broken one currently because of the health mechanics, but I would imagine they will get nerfed into oblivion. Loadouts are pretty straightforward. You get your 2 different guns. There's no perks. You can swap out your individual device. Obviously, being low level, I don't have access to everything. And then we have the different attachments here as well. So you can equip your various attachments, and on the top left, you can kind of see how much XP you're getting per. I was on average probably around getting around 3,000 to 5,000 experience per match. But in terms of weapon XP, I think that's scaled differently because it doesn't actually factor in the other things. But overall, pretty straightforward. You got your basic attachments for the different things, and it tells you exactly what they do. If you want to go to a detailed stats, it even gets further. So we can see the damage values at 38 meters, up to 50 meters on the bottom left, all the way up to 300 meters that we can see there. We also get bullet penetration, so you'll be able to see how those compare, which this is something that Call of Duty lacks, but pretty much most of the Ubisoft games, like Rainbow Six, has even more detailed stats in terms of reload time, mag size, the hipfire spread, recoil, all these other various things. Even though it's super simplistic, it's definitely more than enough once you figure out the headshot multipliers. And then in game, you can figure out the settings. So pretty cool to see that even early on. And since there's no perks, we can't be able to run overkill, so you get access to a finite number of weapons, and then that's kind of set up the way that is. In terms of the factions, you can kind of choose what the character skins look like and all that stuff. And this is still early on, but you're going to be able to have different moves, different passives, determine the playstyle of individual characters. For the most part, they're not necessarily overpowered, with the exception of this one. But in general, most of them have some kind of counter where you could destroy something if they build up a barricade or whatever. It's just kind of built in that way. And then you're kind of set up with the different challenges to unlock things as well. So I was going for the ACR, which requires 25 long shot. The maps and modes don't necessarily cater towards easy long shots where you sit on a head glitch. There's no mounting. They do have sliding, and the movement feels pretty good. Like I said, it feels very similar to BO2, but it's much faster paced than what we've had in Modern Warfare 2 in terms of overall pacing with how they determine spawns, how quick you get into the gunfights, the reload times, the ADS times, the strafe speed, pretty much all the things that make a good COD. They've kind of incorporated a lot of those. Since you just dropped, the queue times are a little bit longer than I would expect them to be at launch, because it took like 5-ish minutes to get in the first one. But as long as you're in that match, it kind of kicks you into the next match pretty quickly, which is pretty nice to kind of get, once you get going. There is map voting, which is cool. If you like a particular map or if you're going for specific challenges, you'll be able to select that specific one in addition to the mode that you chose. On top of that, there are red dots on the minimap. They don't stay on there very long. This is a little blip. The spawns in general seemed pretty fair, especially on the neutral sized maps. The very small one, Arena, gets a little bit chaotic, but that kind of expected. It'd be like Shipment having good spawns. It's just not realistic. And then there are 14 maps within this version of the game, I believe. At least that's what when I was watching another stream. They're referencing 14 maps within the beta, which is crazy. That's more than COD drops with, so that's kind of nice. TTK can be a little inconsistent because of the operator thing or the specialist thing that I was talking about, where if you select the one with the extra health, clearly somebody with extra health is going to be a little inconsistent than somebody with 100 health. And then there's an armor guy that kind of has extra health as well. that runs that kind of as like their specialist bonus, and that one has extra health, I believe, as well. So there's that. But most of that stuff, like I said, does have counters. The biggest issue I think plaguing the game right now is the netcode is pretty bad. Based off what the developers have said, it sounds like they're going to get that under wraps and it should be much smoother. There was tons of clips where you will see like you're pre-aiming a corner and the guy already comes around the corner, and by the time they've come around, you've already taken damage because on the other person's screen, they already walked out, they already started shooting you, and vice versa, where you're perfectly tracking and you're shooting. Then all of a sudden there's no hit reg, no hit reg, no hit reg. And it's like, what's going on? And then you just get instantly deleted. So there are a lot of instances of that within the game. You kind of just got to take it for what it is, along with like some of the other broken stuff, knowing that those are things they've already checked off to work on. But overall, pretty fun experience. I'm a big drop shotter, and personally, you know, it kind of sucks that there's not drop shotting in the game. You can't go prone. So that's kind of a limitation. I'm really a big fan of drop shotting because one, you kind of throw off their aim and then you put yourself at a disadvantage because now you leave your headshot exposed, which does higher damage. So you kind of have that trade-off where you catch someone off guard, but you can also get deleted. So it's a little bit of a trade-off there. So when it comes to, is this the COD killer? It's not a battle royale. COD is now defines itself as a battle royale game. Unfortunately, I wish it was just a good, fun game across the board for multiplayer, battle royale, and DMZ. But I don't think this has any intent of doing that. But it could actually take a little bit of market share because it's supposed to be free to play. There aren't a lot of good multiplayer games like this that feel like COD, or at least older versions of COD before they change their identity. So you kind of have that old feeling, which a lot of people are going to gravitate towards too. And you don't have to pay that $70 introductory to get into it. You're able to just get into it and try it and make those opinions for yourself, which I recommend doing over the next 11 days, which I think all you do is got to go hang out in somebody's stream who's streaming it. I'm not going to stream the game. So look for people who are streaming it. It'll say drops available. You just watch a stream for 30 minutes. You get a code. You link your account and it's automatically there in your store or whatever for free. And that's kind of how that would go. But I think there's a lot of good to come from this. Hopefully it's amazing. I don't see me no-lifing this game or anything like that, but hopefully it is amazing because that just puts pressure on COD to realize what is important and what they can work on to improve their game. I don't know how that's going to work though. Ubisoft is kind of a little weird because they don't tend to follow through with their multiplayer games that well. They make some great single player games or kind of cut and paste. I'm a fan of the Assassin's Creed series among other games, but it's kind of like in Far Cry or whatever, but is that really going to keep them going and be a driver for them? I don't know. Will yet to be seen. I know they do have a lot of former COD pros, certain COD developers actively involved with this to try and make this a lot closer to what the original COD was. And based off what my understanding too is, just like the older CODs had little to no skill-based matchmaking, that's how this is supposed to be. Although my games were particularly sweaty because I played right when it was available, which typically that's sweaty players. When I got Shroud, he had like 70 plus kills or something in a match, just marksman tapping people's heads, and it was like, dude, chill out. It's just a beta. But yeah, it's kind of one of those things. I had a lot of fun with it. I recommend trying it out if you're kind of feeling like you need something else to play. I'm not sure what platforms it's on. I don't think it's on Xbox at all, but I think it's for sure obviously on PC where I played it on the Ubisoft app. Let me know your thoughts after you try it, or if you're interested in trying it. Like I said, it's free. Just got to get the beta code. Appreciate all the support. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.